Let's get more reaction to the Basic Education Department's response on the impact of COVID-19 on schooling. I'm now joined by Educators Union SA General Secretary Siphiwe Mpungose, as well as Naptosa's Executive Director Basil Manuel. Mr. Manuel, I'll start with you. Let's get your initial reactions to the announcement that, well, firstly, schools are not going to be closing and that the inoculation process is expected to take place for all staff starting next week. Okay, let's move to Siphiwe Mpungose. He's the Educators Union SA General Secretary. But Mpungose, let's get your initial reactions to the Minister's statement. If you can just unmute your microphone for me. Can you hear me clearly? Well, we'll continue to attempt to get the Educators Union SA General Secretary. Let's move to SADTU now to get their initial reaction to the Minister's statement. This is in response to the impact of COVID-19 on schooling. Let's get the spokesperson for SADTU, Nomusa Cembi. Mam Cembi, let's get your initial reaction to the inoculation process for teachers as well as all staff in schools expected to kick off next week. This must be good news.
Good afternoon and good afternoon to viewers. Indeed, it is good news. We welcome the fact that the department has increased even the numbers of vaccines from 300,000 to 582,000. This is a welcome move because we were saying that the numbers were too small and that we wanted not only the teachers but personnel working in our schools as well. And the fact that it's no more going to be those above 40, but everyone will be included. We welcome that.
Let's also get reaction from NATU's acting president, Spusiso Victor Malinga. But Malinga, another important announcement that was made is that after continuous deliberations, the minister has decided not to close schools. So what's your reaction to this?
Thank you so much, my leader and your viewers at home. No, NATU's reaction is very simple on that one. NATO says, no, it's fine if schools actually are not closed, but we urge the department to kindly monitor this very closely because we cannot gamble with the lives of our teachers and of our learners. But we understand when the minister says, should there be any cases in a particular school, we'll deal with that school as its own. When we go to also district, we'll deal with those districts and provinces. So, but to add on that, we say we must make sure that schools are actually in order because we cannot gather people without water. You understand that we had a serious problem with water, especially in the deep rural districts. We also want to raise the issue of overcrowding in schools. Should all these classes come back, that is grade R to grade 7, we cannot compromise the social distancing. So I believe that there are means and ways that the department is putting in place to make sure that we do not compromise all those. But to let them come back, I think it's a very great move.
So let's also bring back Basil Manuel. Of course, he's from Naptosa. Now, Basil, you've called on the minister to address vaccine rollout for the education sector and have been making these calls for quite a while now. Let's get your initial response now that it's been announced that there's an urgency to having these vaccines rolled out and teachers are eligible to get their jab by next week.
Absolutely. For us, we are elated that the efforts of not only Naptosa but the other teacher unions in the LRC have really paid off. We've worked together. We've done a lot. We've taken surveys. We've encouraged people. We've written letters. We've met with the various ministers, and it has now come to fruition. What is even more pleasant, the sweetener was that after initially only being told that we'll get 300,000, now we have 580,000 vaccines. That means that every education worker is going to benefit from this, whether in private or in public education, even our ECD centers. And that is what we wanted. And we didn't want the restriction of the under 40s not being allowed. Because remember, this is also about the mental health of teachers, how people feel about being at school, because of the fears, not only of contracting the virus, but the fears of just being faced by the sheer number of people. the fears of what the community is going through. And so for us, this is a sweet moment. And it's not only because of our efforts, but of course the ministry supported it and various other people. And so now we need to show that we can make it work. Because of course the logistics around rolling out is going to be a major issue. And we want to use this as a showcase for the general public. We have a lot of negativity. And if this gets pulled off in the manner that we think it can be, it will certainly boost the confidence in the entire vaccination process. And that is what we would like to see. We are very confident that the plans that have been shown to us, even this morning, are credible. They look like they will work. I'm sure we'll have hiccups, but I think we are going to be pleasantly surprised at how well the system can function with a little effort from everybody.
Also on your screen there is Siphiwe Mpungose. He's the Educators Union SA General Secretary. Mpungose, I also want to get your view around this apparent reluctance by some educators or staff within the education sector who appear a bit hesitant to take their jab. There was research that was also highlighted that after interactions with unions, up to 70% of teachers said while they will be taking the jab, many are still very reluctant to.
Yes. Firstly, let me put you in the viewers. As the Educators Union of South Africa, we are disappointed about it because we can't just endorse something that is not explained to us.
Right, Mr. Mpungose, we seem to be struggling to get your sound there, but let's get to the view of Basil Manuel. On the same question here, Basil, just addressing the issue around this vaccine hesitance.
You know, we did a survey as the collective of unions in January this year, and only 58% of people indicated that they may take the vaccine. The survey we did a week and a bit ago showed that 75% of our teachers say they want it by yesterday. And of course, 15% were sitting on the fence, whilst the other 10% said most definitely not. Of that 15%, if 5% take it, that takes us up to 80%. So that means that we've shifted the attitudes vastly from January to now. And I hope that with the excitement around the vaccine, more people are going to embrace the idea. But Naptosa and SATU and the PU and NOW and SAOU are jointly doing a campaign to ensure that we try and encourage everybody. The naysayers, the anti-vaxxers, every one of them, we want to get to say, look, here's an opportunity placed at your doorstep.
Yeah.
Embrace it. Even if you are doubting at this moment, let's get all your paperwork done. Let's get all your registration done. If eventually at the end of the day, you still decide not to do it, well, it's not from a lack of trying on our side. But certainly, even the DBE, and we've shared some material with them, they are also going out there to encourage. And we hope that by the end of the day, we will get more than 95% of our education workers, more than just teachers, the entire working corps in education vaccinated. We know that doubt always creeps in. And then with the J&J fiasco that we had early on, I have no doubt that there are some people that are now reluctant. But we hope that before the beginning of this on Wednesday, and certainly before the end of it by the 8th of July, we would have convinced the vast majority to come on board.
Let's bring back NATU's acting president, Spusiso Malinga. But Malinga, there was also that unfortunate incident that played out this week with educators still reeling from shock after Finetown principal's murder at a school. The MEC for Education in the province, Panyaza Lisufi, has already raised concerns over similar incidents that have transpired in the area before. He's also labeled this an apparent hit. What has been your reaction to this?
No, it's a very bad thing, if I may put it like that, my leader. We cannot allow a situation whereby the principals of schools actually are shot. Not the principals of schools only, but the educator. You know, when you kill an educator, you kill actually the whole nation. So I think this should be referred to the SAPS, and we urge that they do everything in their power to bring all the people who did this actually on board. because, we have to make sure that our schools are the safest places. And we also urge that the department makes sure that each and every school gets a security to look actually after the teachers in schools, because this is not acceptable at all.
Well, thanks there to my entire panel giving their feedback following that education department, or the basic education department's briefing announcing that the inoculation of teachers as well as staff in schools will commence next week. Also responding to that unfortunate incident happening out in Finetown where a school principal was gunned down.